Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cody the Coin Raptor, and welcome to my channel. We're going to be talking today about Bitcoin, and specifically a move that I made recently linked to Bitcoin. And we're going to go ahead and get into that, my thoughts into the current market. We're going to get into supports and resistances. We're going to talk about the upcoming options expiry for the next month and also liquidations as well. But before we get to that, be sure to subscribe, be sure to hit that like button, and be sure to follow me on X and also on Threads. So what we had here that I wound up doing was I decided to buy the dip on IBIT. IBIT is one of the Bitcoin spot ETFs. It is directly linked with Bitcoin, so if you buy IBIT, then you're basically increasing the price of Bitcoin, because then the management agency, BlackRock in this case, has to go and then buy Bitcoin. So what happened was when IBIT dipped here a couple days ago on the 24th of June, I actually went in and bought a little bit here at $33.68. And this is kind of just a teaser position right now currently for IBIT and for Bitcoin. This is the very first time that I've actually bought a Bitcoin spot ETF. I had some money in my E-Trade account and decided to go for it, especially given the fact that Bitcoin has been downtrending. And after I saw Bitcoin reach this level here at about, IBIT reached about $34 or so, I decided to come in, buy a little bit here, and then my plan was to add as we go lower, because the way it's looking, Bitcoin and IBIT are probably going to wind up trending a little bit lower. So how this looks right now is I'm waiting for Bitcoin to pull back, and thus IBIT to pull back into this support range right here. Now this would be from about $32 to about $33, almost $34, this primary band of support that we saw pull back all the way back in May. Okay, and this level I think is actually going to be the make it or break it level for IBIT. So if it actually drops below this level, about $32, then we're going to wind up seeing it drop down here to support down at about $29, $30 or so. That's the next level of support that you're getting for IBIT. Now again, if you layer this on top of the Bitcoin chart, looks basically the exact same. And for Bitcoin, what that would mean is that if Bitcoin falls to this support band, that it would probably get support here at about $52,000. That's what you're looking at currently. So I think currently it's really difficult to tell where Bitcoin's going to wind up in the short term. It really depends on if the 60K level holds or not. If the 60K level doesn't hold, then we're going all the way down to 52K. Okay, if it does hold, then we have a possibility for a nice little bounce and then challenge the vital resistance level here at about 66. So either way, when I made my purchase, I made a decision here, and again, I buy for the long term, that I'm going to write out some of this volatility, and I'm holding for at least 6 months to a year, possibly longer with my IBIT position. And if IBIT does dip into those regions that I talked about before, if it does go down to $30, I'm going to be buying some additional shares as well. And that's going to be my exposure to Bitcoin from that perspective. So I'm not going to be buying any more actual Bitcoin for a little while, at least not until Bitcoin goes below maybe about 50K or so. But I will continue to buy IBIT as long as it stays within the support band here. And then if it actually dips down to about $30, I'm going to continue to buy as well. But it's not going to be a large position in my portfolio. So as an example here, I have the screenshot of when exactly it was executed. Again, it was at about $33.68. This buy order at IBIT, it was during the extended hour position. And again, my goal is that this is just a small teaser position that I'm going to be building on in order to make Bitcoin a larger part of my traditional stocks-only portfolio. So speaking of Bitcoin, I also want to talk about how the Bitcoin spot ETFs have been affecting the Bitcoin price. So again, if we go over here to our so value XYZ tracker for Bitcoin, we can see here that going here to the dashboard and then go over to the net inflow indicator, that the past couple of days really haven't been anything exciting for Bitcoin. The inflows have been tiny. They've been actually decreasing in size over the past couple of days. But this has kind of followed a number of about a week or so of just solid outflows for Bitcoin. So right now, we've kind of switched from a majority of sellers right now to, I would say, a small majority of buyers in the Bitcoin spot ETFs. And that's the reason why Bitcoin really just hasn't gone anywhere for the past couple of days. And the large increase in the Bitcoin price was largely driven by a lot of these spot ETFs and people buying into them. Now, again, some of the shine has worn off of these products, and now people are starting to sell or starting to take profits, and this is holding the Bitcoin price down right now. However, I will say that there has been one spectacular buyer of Bitcoin that I've been paying attention to, and no, it's not Michael Saylor. It is whale number 12, so-called because this is the 12th largest whale wallet for Bitcoin in the world. Now, whale number 12 has been very busy over the past couple of days. From the 24th of June up until actually today, they've added over 1,000 Bitcoin to their wallet. So over 1,000 Bitcoin. This is remarkable. This massive amount of buying or adding to the wallet that this whale has been doing. And I think that this whale here is taking advantage of the opportunity to buy Bitcoin at a decreased price, and then maybe even sell it when it actually goes back above 70K. We'll have to see what happens with that. But this whale has been taking advantage of this dip and has been adding Bitcoin at a rate that I haven't seen in some time. In fact, if you go ahead and take a look at the previous transactions here, you can see that they've been pretty active, but they haven't added so much Bitcoin in such a short amount of time. And again, this is over 4 days. They've added over 1,000 Bitcoin to their wallet. Previously, you were looking at maybe 100 Bitcoin here and 100 Bitcoin there on certain days, and that was it. But this kind of speaks to the kind of DCA, dollar cost average strategy that a lot of these whales employ. Just like with Michael Saylor, they will be buying and holding for maybe the medium term. In Michael Saylor's case, it's the long term. But they will continue to make money on their position as long as Bitcoin does well. And Bitcoin so far has done very well and has brought them a significant profit. So speaking of Michael Saylor and Bitcoin, I made a video here a little while ago talking about Bitcoin options expiry happening on the 28th of June or today, and I told you that the max paying price was going to be about 55,000 or so, and that was back when Bitcoin was much higher. So it seems like right now this had a significant impact on the price and is partially the reason why we've seen such a huge Bitcoin sell-off over the past couple of days, and in fact, past couple of weeks, the majority of June, Bitcoin has actually done pretty poorly. But I'll talk about that in a minute. So the options expiry for the upcoming end of the month for July, it's July 26th. And again, it's a majority of call options and a minority of puts. But the max paying price for this month is 65,000. So it's actually above currently where Bitcoin is right now. So traders by the end of the month are expecting that we're going to wind up seeing a nice little bump in Bitcoin, almost 10%. That's what they're currently betting on, according to the max paying theory and according to the options here on Durabit. So speaking of the monthly returns for Bitcoin, so as I said before, July is actually shaping up to be a decent month for Bitcoin. At least historically, it's a good month for Bitcoin. The average for July is almost 8%. The median is almost 10%. Compare that with June, which we saw a 10% drop almost, and the average is negative and the median is negative, but these are both about 0.5%. So June was unusually red compared to where Bitcoin normally is in June. However, July is one of the most bullish months for Bitcoin, probably right next to like a February. and in October. So just know that coming into July, this is normally a very strong month for Bitcoin. So I do think that we're actually going to see a little bit of a recovery in the Bitcoin price by the end of the month. So that's why I don't think that this $65,000 max pain price is too ridiculous, because if July holds, the seasonality holds, that would probably be on point with what we'd expect. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin, I also want to go ahead and talk about the liquidations as well. So Bitcoin liquidations have been huge, okay? Over the past 24 hours, $31 million of Bitcoin has been liquidated. Now, this is small compared to what we saw on about the 23rd of June, which is $150 million worth of Bitcoin liquidations, but it's still significant because a lot of the long liquidity is just being sucked out of Bitcoin right now. There's not a lot of bullishness in the market. It's not exuberance. There's not a lot of greed. And right now, you're in a position where the amount of liquidity in Bitcoin just isn't as strong as it has been in the past. If we take a look at our liquidation heat map here, we can see that we went right through a strong area of liquidity here at about 60,250. As soon as that area was immediately taken up and longs were liquidated here, there's not really a lot going on below that. Now, the biggest one here is about 59,700. So if Bitcoin does go below 60K and hits this level, most likely we're going to see it's going to plunge down, and it's probably going to continue falling after that point, maybe even down to 59K, and then it's going to probably shoot back up again. So just know that if 60K doesn't hold, that Bitcoin will continue to fall, at least for a little while, before the buyers step in and catch and buy the dip in that case. All right, so let me know what you guys think. And if you think that July is actually going to be a good month for Bitcoin, if you're surprised that we have a whale that's been buying and adding 1,000 Bitcoin to their wallet, leave a comment below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.